to the PyTorch tutorial series. In this video, we're going to talk about the course overview and an installation of PyTorch into our local machine. So the course is divided into different chapters, and for the first chapter, we're going to focus on PyTorch basics. In this section, we're going to cover about 12 different types of concepts, which are going to serve as the building blocks in order to build more sophisticated models later on in the course. First, we're going to start by talking about scalars, arrays, and matrix. Then we're going to learn about the difference between rank, axes, and shape. In the third section, we're going to learn about how to create tensors using different methods. In the fourth section, we're going to learn about the different kinds of tensor operations, element-wise operations, and a variety of operations using different kinds of tensors. In the fifth section, we're going to talk about gradients and how to track and compute gradients using the PyTorch framework. In the sixth section, we're going to implement our own backpropagation algorithm. And then we will do the same thing using PyTorch. On the seventh section, we're going to talk about some optimization algorithms, such as stochastic gradient descent and Atom using the AutoGrad package. First, we're going to implement it using NumPy, and then we are going to use the AutoGrad package of PyTorch to implement the same optimization algorithm. On the eighth section, we're going to talk about linear regression, and we're going to implement linear regression using both NumPy and PyTorch so that you can see the difference between the two. On the ninth section, we're going to talk about different concepts under logistic regression, including the different kinds of cost functions that we can implement using the PyTorch framework, and also how to use the sigmoid and softmax functions and the difference between the two. On the 10th section, we're going to talk about the different kinds of activation functions that we can implement using the PyTorch framework. And on the 11th section, we're going to see how to load datasets using the PyTorch framework. And in order to do that, we need the help of the dataset and data loader package. Finally, to conclude the first chapter, we're going to talk about data transform and how to implement different kinds of transformations on our dataset before feeding it into the model. In this video, we're going to focus on how to set up the environment for our course. And in order to do that, we need to install these packages. First, we need to download Anaconda. Second, we need a Jupyter notebook. And all of our code will be implemented using the Jupyter notebook. And the main framework we need for our course is the PyTorch framework, and we will see how to install PyTorch on our local machine and integrate it into our Jupyter notebook. On the fourth section, we're going to see how to download the NumPy package. We need NumPy to create the ND arrays, and we will also see the implementations of the concept that I mentioned before by using both NumPy and PyTorch. So we need this package. We also need additional Python packages such as Scikit Learn and Matplotlib. Scikit Learn is essential when we want to implement the other machine learning algorithms. And we're going to implement linear regression and logistic regression using both the Scikit Learn library and PyTorch. And we also need Matplotlib in order to plot some graphs in order to evaluate our model. So these are the steps that we need. The first one is to install Anaconda onto our local machine. The second one is, after installing Anaconda, we need to set up a virtual environment using Anaconda prompt. Third, we need to go to the website of PyTorch and install the PyTorch package, and we will see later on how to do this. Fourth, we will install Scikit Learn using the Anaconda prompt. Next, we will also install the Matplotlib package, which is also going to be essential to plot different kinds of graphs. Finally, we're going to set up our Jupyter notebook. Once we create our virtual environment, we need to integrate the virtual environment with our Jupyter notebook so that we can easily write some code and see the results right away. So that's all. Now we will move on to the next section of the video where I show you how to set up the environment. Hello guys, and welcome back. Now we're going to see how to download Anaconda onto our local machine. First, we have to go to the website anaconda.com, and here you can see that we can download Anaconda for a 64-bit Windows machine, Macintosh, and also Linux. Since mine is 64-bit, I'm just going to download the 64-bit graphical installer, and we're going to use Python 3.9 version. Since mine is already downloaded, I'm not going to download it again. Once it's already downloaded, you can go to Anaconda Navigator. It's going to take some time to load. While it's loading, then we can go. The next thing we need is PyTorch. You can go to the website pytorch.org. As you can see down here, you can choose which version you want. So the current version of PyTorch as of the recording of this video is 1.13.1, which is a stable version. And we're gonna choose Windows, and we're also going to use Conda package to install PyTorch. The language is going to be Python, and here, since we're using CPU, I'm going to choose CPU. If you have a GPU, you need to download CUDA in addition to PyTorch, and PyTorch is going to automatically generate the command for you to be used on Anaconda prompt. And now Anaconda Navigator is already open, and from the Navigator we can see that there are a bunch of tools that we can use, and one of them is Jupyter Notebook. And so here we're going to launch Jupyter Notebook from the Anaconda Navigator. We can also launch Jupyter Notebook directly from our virtual environment. So I'm just going to press launch, and it's going to load. While it's opening on a Jupyter Notebook, we're going to create a virtual environment. So in order to do that, the first thing that we need to do is open Anaconda prompt. As you can see, the Jupyter Notebook is now open on localhost, and we're going to create our project. It's going to be in the deep learning directory and under the PyTorch directory. This is going to be our PyTorch basics IPython file. And here it's going to load the Jupyter Notebook. Next, we can go and open Anaconda prompt. As you can see here, there is a kernel error, and this is the virtual environment that we're going to be using for our course. And you need to download every package that I have mentioned on the slides to this environment. That's what we are going to do by using Anaconda prompt, and we're going to connect it to this notebook. So now we're going to use Anaconda prompt to create a new virtual environment. So in order to create a new virtual environment, we're going to use the conda command and create -n, which is going to be the name of our new virtual environment, and I'm going to call it PyTorch env. Then we're going to proceed. As you can see, it's already created under this directory, and it's going to be found in the environments directory under the name PyTorch env. Here we can use the command conda activate PyTorch env to activate the virtual environment. Now, as you can see, we have switched from the base package to the PyTorch env package virtual environment. The next step is going to be to download Python. We're going to be using Python version 3.9. So we're going to use the command conda install Python equal to 3.9. And we're going to say yes. As you can see, it's already downloading a lot of packages associated with Python, including pip. And by using the pip, we can also use the pip command to install on other packages. But now we can just proceed by using conda to install other packages. So next we can install Scikit Learn. You have to type the command conda install scikit-learn, and here we don't need to install NumPy and Scikit-learn separately. When you download the Scikit-learn package, as you can see, we can also download the NumPy and the NumPy base packages together, so no need to do them separately. As you can see, it's already done. The next package is going to be Matplotlib, and we're going to use the same command as before, conda install, and just replace the Scikit-learn with Matplotlib, and we're going to say yes. As you can see, Matplotlib is also going to download other associated packages such as Pillow for displaying images. And if you are familiar with how to create GUIs using Python, you can also use the PyQt and PyQt5 package. It's a very famous package to create GUI applications using Python. And there are also associated packages such as the Qt main and Qt web engine. And as you can see on the top, we have the Matplotlib and the Matplotlib base package. Now it's already downloaded. I think we have already installed all the necessary packages that we need for this course. The next one is going to be PyTorch, and we go to the website again, and we're just going to copy this command from the website. As you can see, when you download PyTorch, you're also downloading other associated packages. And since we are downloading CPU only, we're going to use the command CPU only. As you can see, besides PyTorch, we're also downloading the Torch Vision and Torch Audio packages. We're going to say yes. So I'm going to make a video about this package, Torch Vision. It's about creating computer vision in order to use computer vision datasets such as MNIST, Fashion MNIST, and also some transformations that we can do on images. We can use the Torch Vision package. Torch Audio is associated with audio files, but we're not going to use this package in this course. As you can see, it's already downloaded. Once PyTorch is downloaded, the final step is going to be how to incorporate this newly created virtual environment into our Jupyter notebook. Because right now they're not communicating with each other, so the first thing that we need to do is go to this website, u.com or any kind of web browser. And here we're going to type how to use Anaconda environment in Jupyter Notebook. And as you can see, there are a lot of answers. And here we can use this code, conda install ipykernel, because we need to install the ipykernel package in order to use the command ipython, the next command. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it here. So first we're going to install the ipykernel package into our virtual environment. The reason that we are installing this is just to use the ipython command later on. While it's downloading, here we can see that the ipython command have other associated commands such as kernel install, and then here we have to provide the name of the virtual environment in which we want to download the kernel to. So we have to mention the name of our virtual environment, and the name of our virtual environment will replace the test1 here. So I can just copy this, and since it's already done, we can paste it here, or we can just type it ipython kernel install --name and the name of our virtual environment, which is PyTorch env. And it's going to show you that it's downloading other packages. And here it has already installed the kernel spec into the PyTorch env environment. Once it's done, then the final step will be to go to our Jupyter notebook and open the notebook in which we want to incorporate the virtual environment to. Then here under the kernel section, we can go to here change kernel. Here we have two virtual environments which have been already created before, and if you have successfully finished installing the ipykernel package, you can also find your newly created virtual environment here. So maybe we can reload again. Sometimes it needs to be reloaded before you can see your newly created kernel on your Jupyter notebook. So maybe now, as you can see, our newly created environment is also visible. So we're going to select it now, and the kernel is ready now, and now you can just start working on your projects. So we're going to be using this notebook for our course, for the first section of our course. So whenever we create a new notebook file, don't forget to incorporate the virtual environment. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.
Audio Jungle.